The road to the 30th Conversations with the Author, produced by the largest theatre in all of Africa, the South African Stray Theatre, is well underway, and I could not possibly be any more excited than I already am. So let me take you down memory lane. I'm Tebogo Tinti, and welcome to the first official episode of Time with T, and thank you for choosing to spend some time with me. Today I want to discuss everything Conversations with the Author, because we are on the road to book number 30. Now, we can't really look forward to where we're going if we don't take a look back at where we came from. So let me take you back to book number 1. Well, you know what they say. Well, I don't know who they are, but they say you never forget your first, and I will never forget my first. My first book for Conversations with the Author, and that is Culture and Liberation Struggle in South Africa, post-colonialism to post-apartheid, edited by Dr. Lebogang Lansnawa. And he is a genius. He is a genius in creating this body of work. I preach this to anybody who will listen, to say this is a must-have. It's a beautiful, beautiful coffee table book that is a conversation starter, and it's a beauty of art and history documented together in one go. And he had exactly 33 contributors for this anthology. You have the likes of Menakedi Ribani in here. I mean, you turn a page and then you can start talking about anything. Napo Mutana, Aubrey W. Scabi, of course, the artistic director of the South African State Theatre. He penned a chapter called Shades of Memories, My Life Journey in the World of Theatre. I will say that his is my favorite chapter. Of course, I'm going to say his is my favorite chapter. And if you want to get an understanding of the people that get to lead in this industry, if you want to get an understanding of their background, this is it. I mean, that Vusi Mahlasela has contributed in this. And I will have to say also that my second favorite chapter would have to be Menakedi Ribani. She speaks about her background in a way that I never would have even imagined. The struggles that she had, I didn't think that she had, because of what we saw on our small screens. And this is also Mungane Walisirot. I wanted to get it right. And we also know him for one of his poetry was translated into what was said a musical piece. That's what it was called, I think, in musical piece, you know, that express. Whoop, whoop. But as he called up, my number one, over 500 pages, over, let's see, 578 pages. I read this book, and I remember going through all the nerves of it, thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? What do people do at Conversations with Authors, which was then called Book Launches, and then the name swiftly changed because the books that we started to have, they were already launched, but this was officially launched there. And the beauty about this book is that all these different people have so much in common, and their struggles are so similar. And it's something that you never would have known otherwise. They came together and used their voices to tell us their stories from their perspective. And I fell in love with this, and I'm still in love with it. And my kids look at it like, it's so big. And I'm like, take your time with it. Take your time with it. It is that type of book that you have to take your time with when you are going through whatever it is that you are going through, especially in the arts industry. Pick up this book, open any chapter, and notice and realize and remember why you started in the first place, because there is no bigger reminder than this one. And according to my understanding, Dr. Lance Lebogang has another book out. I have to say that I look forward to having another conversation with him. But now, every book he publishes now, we talk about it. But if it's this good, then why not? I hope he gets to see this and he really considers bringing volume 2 back to the South African State Theatre, because I absolutely loved it. I learned a lot of things, and I learned not to take a lot of things for granted. I learned to be thankful and appreciate the opportunities that I now have, because I fully understand what people went through and the sacrifices they made so that some of us can be here today. This is a history lesson told by the people who were there in that moment. This is not a Jan van Riebeeck type of history. This is the people that you know about type of history, the people that you recognize type of history, the people that look and sound like us type of history. And I will forever be grateful for this body of work. That was book number 1. Oh, my favorite part about book number 1 is that, that day, the entire day and the whole entire experience was my favorite, because I was experiencing everything for the first time. So yeah, and I remember having a co-host for that, and that was the first and only time that I had a co-host. So one of the reasons why I'll never forget it. If you have any questions about culture and liberation struggle in South Africa, hit me up in the comment section. I will answer anything that you would like to ask. And if you want to get yourself a copy, it is available at the South African State Theatre kiosk. You can get it there, or you can contact Dr. Lebogang Lansnawa on Facebook. That's his handle. And then you can get in touch with him and inquire about getting the book. It is currently available, and trust me, you will get your money's worth, and take my word for it, you will love it. Let me take you to this was book number 3. It happened on the, let's see, which day 29th of January, 2023. I remember on this day that I had to do conversations was the day that my best friend in the whole world, the best friend I've ever had, TK Kotu, was laid to rest on that day. And this has to be, at the time I thought this has to be the most difficult conversations with the author. It was still called book launch then. This has to be the most difficult I've ever had to do. I remember telling my then boyfriend, I had a boyfriend then. I remember telling him, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, and he was just like, I'm gonna come, I'm gonna be there. If you feel like you're falling apart, just look my way and we're gonna be all right. And he was there, and I looked his way, and I wasn't all right, but his presence helped. So anyway, before I ramble, the book is Bantu Knots by Lebo Mazibuko. If you have not read this book yet, go and get it, because there is no South African story told like the South African story is told. And I understand that this is her debut novel, and her writing is so smooth, man, especially as a person who is from Kokasi, and a person who has like the burbs experience, a person who has the church experience, a person who has been around their mom and their grandmother, a person who has been in the community with different types of influencers, because that now everybody's an influencer. To read this kind of work, you kind of feel like you know everybody in the book. When I say that when you read Bantu Knots, you will recognize every single character because you've met them. I mean it. You will read of the pastor's kid that was out of line, and you will be like, oh, I remember when Amuruti Mamang was the same way. This book is, I made my nieces read it. That's what I did, because there are some lessons that are difficult to teach to our kids, or there are some conversations that are difficult to start with our children, because sometimes we don't know how to introduce the topic. So when they read and then they have questions, it's easier for them to come here and say, so what is it that we're supposed to do when somebody forces themselves on us? And then you give them the answer. Or another thing that I did with my older niece, I said, you're going to read this book, and then you're going to write a paper, and then I'm going to read it and then grade you on it. And when I say that we spoke about everything that I was afraid to talk to her about, is an understatement. She was asking questions in the paper, and in me grading it, I had to provide the answers. There was a time when she was even having a conversations with her friends, and then there was like, there's this girl that I'm reading about, blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, no, she understands. And it's not just as a conversation starter for us adults, it's a conversation starter for teenagers. And I remember during this conversation, I asked Lebo Khore, who are you writing for with this book? And I think it was Mother Napamashian who answered the question and said that this book is undoing the knots that our parents had when they were raising us, and we are undoing the knots that we have because we were raised by our parents. And that's exactly it. It's not just, because when I first picked it up, I thought, oh, it's about hair, Bantu knots. I'm gonna learn about hair. If you were a part of the conversation, if you remember being there, I had Bantu knots, and I was like, I'm gonna be that girl, only to find what it's not about. Not just about the hair. You don't get tips on how to maintain your Bantu knots, no, but you do get knowledge on how to undo your personal knots, your lively knots. And that's what it was about. And because this was book number 3, the first 2 books that we did, we had gentlemen authors. She was the first female author that we had for conversations with the author. And then she had an all-female panel. Lebo Masibuko brought me, and I remember being so excited about that. There was Didi, there was Rafilwe, there was Snapo, and there was her and myself, of course. That picture is like, again. Oh, and I know that this book is being taught go Kimberley in I think it's a creative writing class, if I'm not mistaken. If I am mistaken, I apologize, but I know that it's been taught, and I know that it's going to continue to be taught this year, and that is what I am talking about. Let's have conversations such as this. Go conversations with the author. Let's bring authors such as these that are going to be taught out there in the world, to see a black hashtag a black girl did that. She is a young, beautiful, powerful black woman, and she is already spreading education all around. She is already, her work is being studied. I mean, as an author, what more do you hope for? As an author, when you put your work out there, what more do you hope for? What like, isn't that the it's like, I am being studied? Like, what? So congratulations, Lebo. I'm looking forward to your next work. I know it's always a lot of pressure to say that. Oh, what did I mark here? But your hair, you've had the same hairstyle for as long as I've seen you at church, so I knew it had to be you. Oh, this was when when she recognized her. You have to go get the book to understand what I'm talking about. This was book number 3 for Conversations with the Author. So join me on the next episode while I give you another one of the memory. I'm randomly picking, just so you know. It's not like I'm going through the books to say, oh, which one was my favorite, which one did I love, which one did I hate, which one. No, I just go onto the shelf and then I just pick 2 and then I come here and then I do an episode, because that's what the fun is. My favorite about this the number 3 conversations with the author would have to be my hairstyle that day. I had on bantu knots, and obviously the panel was absolutely great. Oh, my outfit, yeah, my outfit was also awesome. I liked it. And I think that I love the fact that my then boyfriend was there. Do I miss him? I'll see you next time. I'll see you next time on a different on episode 2 for Time with T, while I take you further down the road with conversations with the author. Road to book number 30. Road to book number 30. Any idea who it's going to be? Any idea?